Caitlin recognizes how open she is. Burke can't quite get there, drains the three.
The WNBA had one job: protect its brightest star. Instead, it let her face crushing fouls, skepticism, and a system that never truly valued her. Now, everything is about to change. Caitlin Clark, the player who fills arenas,
here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond!
Shatters TV ratings and carries a league on her shoulders, might be leaving it all behind. Why? Because someone with unimaginable resources has noticed what the WNBA refuses to fix. A $1 billion offer is reportedly on the table.
WNBA scouts were at Williams Arena tonight for a sold-out Gopher women's basketball game.
A sum so massive it makes the league's entire salary structure look like pocket change. Can the WNBA survive if its golden goose walks away? Could an entire league collapse under its own mismanagement and short-sightedness? The answers could redefine women's basketball forever. And once the spotlight shifts, will anyone else have the power or the incentive to stay? The warning nobody heard. Stephen A. Smith did not stumble into this story by accident.
ESPN's Stephen A. Smith always gives us his candid opinion no matter what the topic is.
He has been building toward this moment for months, calling out the WNBA louder and more consistently than any analyst on television. While other commentators tried to stay diplomatic and avoid controversy, Stephen A. chose a different path. He became the voice that refused to pretend everything was fine when everyone watching could see that things were falling apart. Every time Caitlin Clark absorbed a hard foul that
Caitlin Clark, WNBA superstar, Rookie of the Year for the Indiana Fever,
who was single-handedly saving their league from irrelevance, he called it out by name. Every time the WNBA front office failed to shield the player generating more revenue than anyone in franchise history, he went on national television and asked the questions that executives did not want to answer. While the league hid behind press releases and corporate talking points, Stephen A. refused to stay quiet. He saw exactly what was happening, and he made sure America saw it too. He went on First Take and demanded that Commissioner Kathy Engelbert resign from her position. He did not suggest it politely or frame it as constructive criticism. He said straight up that she needed to step down because she had fundamentally mishandled the biggest opportunity the WNBA had ever received. He called out the jealousy and resentment that shaped how veteran players treated a generational talent who should have been welcomed with open arms. He highlighted the absurdity of watching Caitlin Clark fly commercial on cramped regional jets, while male athletes with half her cultural impact traveled on private chartered flights with full amenities. He questioned publicly why the league left her off the Olympic roster when she was clearly the most marketable player in the entire sport and the one person guaranteed to draw global eyeballs to women's basketball. And through all of this, he warned repeatedly that if the WNBA did not evolve fast and fix these problems immediately, someone with serious financial power would swoop in and steal everything the league had been building. He said the market always corrects itself. He said you cannot keep a superstar earning pennies while she generates millions without consequences, eventually catching up. He said powerful people outside the country were watching every hard foul, every petty slight, every moment of disrespect, and taking notes about opportunities. Nobody in the WNBA front office took those warnings seriously. They dismissed Stephen A. as a commentator chasing ratings. They assumed Caitlin Clark had nowhere else to go because women's basketball had never offered alternatives before. They believed their monopoly on the sport would protect them from any competition regardless of how badly they treated their players. That confidence looks catastrophically misplaced now.
I think the biggest thing is just confidence. I think sometimes I feel like I'm closer to the basket than I really am, but also the adrenaline gets going, the crowd gets behind you.
According to Stephen A.'s sources, the Saudi Public Investment Fund has identified Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham as the centerpieces of a new global basketball venture designed to compete directly with the WNBA. The conversations are not theoretical anymore. They are happening right now in private meetings that league executives cannot access. The numbers being discussed make WNBA contracts look like insulting jokes that no serious athlete would accept. And the league that spent an entire season letting its biggest star get physically targeted without consequences is now scrambling desperately to figure out how to stop a takeover they should have seen coming from miles away. What makes Stephen A.'s words hit so hard is not just the message itself. It is who is delivering it and what his track record reveals about his sources. He has connections stretching across the NBA, the WNBA, international sports federations, and business circles that most analysts cannot match. He drops major stories before they go public because powerful people trust him with sensitive information, knowing he will handle it responsibly. When he spoke about this alleged billion-dollar deal involving Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, his tone was calm but completely locked in. He sounded like someone who had already seen the paperwork sitting on a desk somewhere. He sounded like someone who knew exactly how this story ends. He told the league straight up that if they did not protect their golden goose, someone else would come through and buy the whole farm right out from under them. Now, it looks like that transaction is already in progress, and the WNBA is about to learn what happens when you ignore warnings from people who actually understand.
People always ask me, like, do I get more nervous for this or basketball? And it's this, and it's not even remotely close. Like, I don't worry about basketball too much.
How leverage works in professional sports. The offer that changes everything. To understand why this rumor has the WNBA front office in full panic mode, you need to understand the staggering numbers involved and what they reveal about how badly the league has undervalued its most important asset. Caitlin Clark currently earns under $100,000 on her rookie contract. That is not a typo. The player who transformed women's basketball into must-see television, the athlete who filled arenas that had been half empty for years, the superstar whose games now draw ratings that rival some men's professional sports broadcasts, earns less annually than many entry-level corporate jobs pay. Even with sponsorship deals and endorsements factored in, her total income does not come close to matching the massive revenue she generates for the league every single time she steps on the court. Consider what happens whenever Caitlin Clark plays.
Caitlin Clark last played for Indiana against New York, and now she takes it in off glass and has a chance for a three-point play.
Every arena she visits sells out completely, often within minutes of tickets becoming available. Every game she participates in spikes television ratings by double-digit percentages compared to games without her. Every piece of merchandise connected to her name, from jerseys to posters to branded accessories, disappears from shelves so fast that retailers cannot keep inventory stocked. She brought explosive energy to a sport that struggled for decades to break into mainstream American consciousness, and she accomplished all of this before even finishing her first professional season. The WNBA's response to this unprecedented phenomenon was to pay her $76,000 annually, let veteran players shoulder check her on national television broadcasts while referees conveniently look the other way, and allow a culture of resentment to define her entire introduction to professional basketball. That response revealed everything anyone needed to know about how the league values the players who actually generate its revenue. The Saudi Public Investment Fund operates on a completely different level, one that makes the WNBA's entire financial structure look like a relic from a different century. They do not deal with salary caps that artificially suppress what athletes can earn. They do not spend months in collective bargaining negotiations debating whether players deserve modest raises. They do not convene board meetings where wealthy owners argue about whether they can afford to pay fair market value for talent that fills their arenas. Instead, they identify undervalued assets with precision that would impress Wall Street analysts. They write checks large enough to change lives overnight and alter the entire trajectory of sports leagues. They build competing products specifically designed to make old systems look obsolete and irrelevant. This is not speculation about what they might do. This is the exact playbook they executed when they launched LIV Golf and fundamentally disrupted professional golf forever. When the Saudi fund entered golf, the PGA Tour seemed untouchable. It had decades of history.
The U.S. Justice Department will review the PGA Tour's plan to merge with Saudi-backed LIV Golf to determine if it violates antitrust law.
Institutional credibility, corporate partnerships, and a monopoly on the world's best players. Then the Saudis started writing checks so massive that even legends who had spent their entire careers loyal to the PGA Tour could not look away. In a matter of months, the competitive landscape of professional golf transformed completely. Players walked away from everything they knew because the money gap was simply too enormous to justify staying. Now that same strategy is targeting women's basketball, and the WNBA has no defense prepared because they never believed this day would actually come. The rumored offer includes upfront guaranteed money that could overshadow the entire lifetime earnings of every WNBA player who has ever competed in the league combined. We are talking about individual contracts potentially worth $50 million or more for marquee stars. We are talking about luxury private travel on chartered jets instead of cramped commercial flights. We are talking about worldwide tournament stops in premium destinations instead of grinding bus rides between American cities. We are talking about zero salary restrictions, meaning athletes get paid what they are actually worth on the open market. We are talking about revenue sharing percentages that do not exist anywhere in American women's basketball. And perhaps most importantly, we are talking about ownership stakes that transform players from disposable employees into genuine partners with equity in what they are building. When you put that kind of comprehensive offer next to the WNBA's insulting $76,000 rookie deal, there is no comparison to make. It is not even a negotiation between two reasonable alternatives. It is a rescue mission for world-class athletes who have been criminally underpaid and systematically undervalued their entire professional careers while generating fortunes for everyone except themselves. How the WNBA created this disaster. The league accidentally built the perfect opening for this takeover, even if they never meant to. For years, players complained about low pay, brutal travel schedules, back-to-back games with no charter flights, and a culture that felt more punishing than protective. But everything hit a breaking point the moment Caitlin Clark arrived. Instead of embracing the player who boosted attendance,
Clark with the tough three!
Television ratings, and merchandise sales the second she touched the court, the league let a wave of hostility define her entire rookie experience. Veterans who should have welcomed her treated her like she did not belong. The tone was set before the season even started. Comments from established stars suggested resentment rather than excitement about having a generational talent join their ranks. And then the physical targeting began. The hit from Chennedy Carter became the moment everything flipped. Fans across the country watched Clark get checked on live television, while referees barely moved. What should have been an obvious, flagrant foul was brushed off like it was nothing serious. Social media exploded with outrage. Casual viewers who tuned in specifically to watch Caitlin Clark saw a league that seemed more interested in allowing jealousy than protecting its most valuable asset. Behind the scenes, whispers circulated about the old guard not wanting to give up control. Analysts wondered why the WNBA looked more focused on enforcing hierarchy than building momentum. The vibe shifted instantly and never recovered. How could a league desperate for growth allow its most marketable star to be targeted with zero consequences? The answer revealed cracks in the culture that existed long before Caitlin arrived.
Clark off the screen, has it taken away. Just a second turnover for Clark.
Investors search for exactly these kinds of weak spots: frustration, dysfunction, and moments where organizations care more about internal politics than long-term success. By the time the Saudi group began evaluating potential targets, the WNBA had already handed them a gift wrapped in controversy: a superstar feeling isolated, a furious fan base demanding accountability, a league losing control of its own narrative. Instead of nurturing the biggest opportunity in its history, the WNBA pushed its most valuable face straight toward the highest bidder. Why Caitlin Clark is worth $1 billion, international investors did not circle Caitlin Clark's name by accident. To them, she represents something far more valuable than points per game or shooting percentages. She is a global phenomenon capable of transforming any league she joins into appointment television overnight. Her impact transcends statistics in ways that traditional sports analysts struggle to quantify, but that business executives understand immediately. Her appeal crosses borders instantly. Clips of her deep three-pointers trend in countries where basketball is not even a major sport. Fans who never watched a single WNBA game suddenly want to tune in because she is playing. Parents bring their kids to arenas specifically to see her in person, creating memories that build lifelong fan bases. She has created something the league has never experienced before: a genuine star effect that transforms every space she walks into and every broadcast she appears on. The Saudis understand exactly how rare that kind of star power is in professional sports.
Sports, a lot of money. big names that people are very familiar with, big teams, big facilities.
True global anchors appear maybe once every decade, athletes who can carry an entire league on their shoulders and make it relevant to audiences who previously had no interest. When they do emerge, they can make a brand new league relevant overnight without needing decades of established fan bases or historical legacy. Caitlin Clark reached that elite level faster than anyone predicted, faster than even her biggest supporters imagined possible. And the Saudis realize they cannot afford to wait while the WNBA continues fumbling her career through mismanagement, jealousy, and institutional incompetence. If they want to build a billion-dollar venture that dominates global sports media, they need a centerpiece who locks in worldwide attention from day one without requiring years of marketing buildup. Caitlin Clark is that centerpiece. Losing her would not mean losing just one talented athlete.
Caitlin Clark, you'll see why I'm saying that. Let's start you off late in the first quarter.
It would mean losing the entire growth engine the WNBA has been desperately depending on to negotiate its future television deals and prove to skeptical networks that women's basketball deserves premium investment. Sophie Cunningham's inclusion confused people who only look at statistics, but anyone who understands branding, marketing, or how modern sports actually work knew exactly why she was part of this conversation. Sophie is not just a role player. She built a real identity that stretches far beyond the court.
She pushes back though, Ramona.
Yeah, some of that is just hazing. Some of that is exactly what Sophie said.
She has charisma, personality, and a sharp edge that fans connect with immediately. Her social media presence rivals the engagement of players with much bigger stat lines. International investors do not pick stars based only on scoring averages. They pick personalities who spark conversations, stir reactions, and pull in viewers who normally would not watch. Sophie Cunningham fits that profile perfectly. Pairing her with Caitlin Clark creates a duo that sponsors can immediately build campaigns around.
Caitlin Clark with 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. Here's Clark on her return.
Caitlin brings the global spotlight, while Sophie brings the personality that keeps audiences engaged between games. The Saudi project is not trying to copy the traditional WNBA format. They want characters. They want instantly recognizable faces. They want viral moments that fuel modern sports culture worldwide. And in their eyes, these two players can deliver exactly that. The silence that speaks volumes. What makes this situation even more unsettling is the complete absence of denials. Usually when a bombshell rumor hits the sports world, agents rush to shut it down. Teams push out statements. Public relations managers scramble to contain the story before it spreads further. But this time, nothing. Caitlin Clark's camp is quiet. Sophie Cunningham's camp is quiet. The league itself is avoiding direct responses. In professional sports, silence is never random. Silence is strategy. And most of the time, silence means conversations are happening behind closed doors that nobody wants to discuss publicly yet. Stephen A. Smith did not drop this leak lightly.
Stephen A., yesterday on First Take, you called for Kathy Engelbert's resignation.
He doubled down on it. He repeated it across multiple platforms. He ramped up his tone like someone who already knew the next chapter of the story. When Stephen A. gets bad information, he walks it back quickly. When he knows he is right, he leans forward and speaks like the outcome is already determined. That confidence sent a message to everyone paying attention. This is not rumor. This is preparation. The timing makes everything worse for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is grinding through a brutal season, absorbing hard fouls, flying commercial, and carrying the weight of an entire league on her shoulders. As the season drags on, the idea of private jets, global events, luxury accommodations, and generational wealth becomes harder and harder to ignore. Every tough flight adds to the frustration. Every foul that referees ignore adds to the resentment. Every jealous comment from veterans adds to the appeal of a fresh start somewhere else. Agents understand leverage better than anyone. If Clark's representatives wanted to kill this story instantly, they could do it with one sentence.
Caitlin Clark pleading for a foul on the play, coming on the court after the buzzer to yell at an official. Clark.
But they have not. Staying quiet keeps both doors open. It forces the WNBA to scramble. It pushes networks to reconsider their offers. It makes every group involved raise their bids. This silence is not hesitation, it is leverage. And it shows that the players know exactly how powerful they are right now. The WNBA once believed it held the keys to its own future. It believed that loyalty, history, and tradition could contain the brightest talent the league has ever seen. But that illusion is gone. Power has shifted. The rules have changed. One decision, one signature could unravel everything the league thought it controlled and rewrite the future of women's basketball forever. How did it come to this? How could a league that built itself around a single superstar fail so completely to protect her? And now that the world is watching, who will have the courage and the money to seize the opportunity that the WNBA let slip through its fingers?
Young players, boys and girls, that frankly is just better than what we're doing in the U.S. right now.
Players in the WNBA are calling for more money.
The next chapter is already being written in private boardrooms, in whispers between agents and stars, in contracts that could redefine the sport on a global scale. The league is no longer the architect of its own destiny. That role has shifted, and the consequences will be felt by every player, every franchise, and every fan who thought the WNBA was untouchable. The question is no longer if change is coming. It's how fast and how far the dominoes will fall. And when the dust settles, will there even be a league left that looks anything like the one we knew? The answer is out there, waiting, and it will shock anyone who thought they understood the game.